All right, last section of chapter 5, graphing absolute value functions. Okay, we've seen absolute value before, and we remember, hopefully, that it looks like this. It's going to make the letter V. You can quickly graph absolute value functions simply by shifting the graph of y equals the absolute value of x. Okay. A translation is the shift of a graph horizontally, vertically, or both. Okay. So we're going to talk about the concept of translation here. Okay, so here are two graphs. This is y is equal to the absolute value of x. Remember, as the x value gets bigger, the y value does. As the x value gets smaller, the x value gets bigger. Sorry, the y value gets bigger. Okay, so that's what keeps it above the x-axis. Now, notice what happens if I take that and I subtract 2 from it. I just move the graph down. Okay, so this number on the outside shifts the graph up or down. So if it were a +2, it would go up 2, and it would look the same as this. If it were -7, it would go down 7, and it would look the same thing. Okay, so this is the translation in vertical. Okay, going up and down. Okay, graphing a vertical translation. Okay, so remember what we do is we just pick some points. Okay, try and pick -0 and a positive, and make sure that you see what's happening. Okay, so 0, that's 2, 2, that's 4, -2, that's also 4. Okay, so I graph the points 0, 2, 2, 4, -2, 4, and I draw. Oops, missed that. Okay, that's my absolute value. Okay. All right, now this is what happens if we shift it horizontally. Notice now that the plus or minus is inside the absolute value. If it's positive, it shifts it to the left. If it's negative, it shifts it to the right. Okay, so for a positive h, it translates the graph of y equals the absolute value of x left h units. That's important. Left. Doesn't seem to make sense because it's a plus, but we'll show you why. Okay, and if it's a minus h, then it shifts it right that many units. Okay, so look at this one. Y equals the absolute value of x plus 5. So I make a table. Okay, so I know that it's not going to be at 0 anymore. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the opposite of this number as my middle. And then I'm going to use one smaller and one bigger. We'll see what happens. Okay, -6 plus 5 is -1. The absolute value of -1 is 1. -5 plus 5 is 0. And then we have -4, that's 1. Okay, so you see what happened. I used the number that was inside the absolute value, the opposite of it. And it allowed me so I'm going to do -5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I'm going to do this one. And I'm going to do this one. What I see is my V. Okay. So whenever you have a horizontal translation, pick the number that's inside the absolute value, put that as the opposite in the center of your table, and then you pick one smaller, one bigger, and you can guarantee. This is just a shortcut. If you want to do more, start at 0, start at +1, but you're not going to see anything. You're going to see this whole process, and then you're going to have to keep going all your way to -6, and you're going to hate it that you didn't listen to me, because I'm an old man and I'm wise. Okay, ignore that part. All right, so that's that, and believe it or not, that's it. Lesson check. Check it out. How do they change? How do they differ? What's this going to look like if we translate it 9 units up? And what's the graph of this? You done chapter 5. All right. Sorry, that was weird. See ya.